I started this project off by making chains, and then I single crocheted back and forth kind of randomly, and it looks like it could be a strap now on the left side. So I'm making the same amount of chains, and I'm trying to count and make sure it's even so that I get a kind of V-neck shape on the right side now. So that's what I'm doing. So as I come up at the end, I realize that I miscounted, and now I'm gonna have to go back, pull everything out, and start again because it's not lining up the way it needs to. And although I am anticipating that this dress is gonna be asymmetrical anyway, it's just gonna be a mess having it be really uneven at the strap portion. So I'm just gonna pull it out and do the same exact thing over again, but I'm just gonna recount and make sure I get it right this time. I'm liking the V-neck shape so far. I can kind of see now that this looks like two straps, and it can probably pull up by the shoulders. So I'm just gonna cut where my yarn is and start kind of midway through because I want to add more to the bottom since I don't intend this to be like a lingerie piece. So I kind of want to add from the bottom by making double crochets and then maybe joining it at where that V-neck is to accentuate that shape, and also to like give more to just like add more down to cover like the chest area. Oh yeah, and I switched my hook, I just realized. So I think at the time I thought that this was smaller, but I was using an E before and this is an F hook, so obviously this is the bigger hook. But as I was working on the body piece, I wanted something a little bit smaller to keep the stitches tighter together. In the end, they're so close together that it didn't really make a difference, but if I did it again, I would definitely use like maybe a D hook or a C hook at this section to do, like I said, to kind of make it the stitches a little bit tighter. The only problem sometimes with that is that when you use a super small hook with a thicker yarn, it could end up feeling very bulky and heavy. So I would really have to see, but it turned out okay. And right now too, I'm trying to figure out a type of variation on this theme of the double crochets back and forth because it's making a nice V-neck, but I kind of want to add another pattern just to add more dimension to it by skipping 2 stitches and then double crocheting the next stitch. So I'm going to continue to work back and forth, creating this V-neck shape and making it a little bit more pronounced. So now I'm reconsidering the fact that this might be straps and that maybe if I fold these sections inwards, it might make a V-neck shape. I'm starting to kind of see the butterfly theme open up, but I'm not really sure in which way I want to take it. And so I'm kind of playing with the idea of maybe this is actually a turtleneck. but I need to go and kind of try it on and measure it against my body to kind of see what it's looking like and what it's covering and not covering. But for now, I'm going to just continue going around and seeing if I tie these two side pieces inwards, kind of like how that's going to look. At this point, I probably had held it up to my body a couple times, and it was definitely not going to be a turtleneck. There wasn't enough pull on either side to get that done. I just didn't make this front chest section big enough. And so now I'm going to add some to the bottom. I've solidified the fact that the top two are going to be straps, and the turtleneck idea is just not out the window. So I'm trying to add a little bit more on the bottom, and I think I want to now make it a skirt. So that's kind of like what I'm trying to do now, is complete the bottom area, making sure the crotch is covered, and then going around and making sure that I can start the skirt section. Also, yeah, I changed my hook back again to the E. Like I mentioned, I don't know if it was making that much of a difference at that point. I was just trying to do what I could to make certain sections tighter than others, but in the end, I don't think it made that much of a difference, actually. Yeah, so here I'm trying out a new technique I learned when I made some crochet bunnies for a sweater, and this kind of makes the little bunny tail. But I had no idea that you could create double crochets without a prior chain, and so I just kind of wanted to try that out first. And if you crochet, you know what I mean. And you may know this already, but it was new to me, and I really wanted to use it. And I thought it would be a great way too to kind of add on to the asymmetry of the dress, to kind of create stitches on one side and not the other. So sometimes when you make a chain, you kind of have to make everything even, and this was a really good way of getting around that. So I just tried it on, in this part, these go up to the shoulder, and that pulls up the shoulder, while this part connects to like around the other side of the boob. So it's looking good so far. This reaches just a little bit like above my hip. So this will like cascade onto the left side, right side. This will cascade over to like my right lower side, which will leave like a little gap here. And then I'm gonna finish the bottom and make the rest of it like a long dress. So it's looking really interesting so far. I'm excited. Yeah, just this part is a little finicky and I have to finesse the bottom to cover my crotch a little bit better. I've chained about 60, 70 stitches and now I'm connecting it to the other side because I want to start forming this dress. And so I'll go and do like a 70 chain portion that might fall just slightly above my hips. And then I will create another chain, which is where like the skirt, then the dress will start. But I like to do just like I like to do a little chain. It kind of feels like a, what is it called again? Like waist bead type thing. I just like to do that on the back portion. It kind of helps to support just in case I make the skirt too loose. And you'll see what I mean when I try it on and really put it on later. But now I'm just continuing on with what I started. Okay, so this is how the bottom is looking right now. I did a loop around the back so that I could tie it to the other side, and I'm gonna have to connect, yeah, so I'm going from top to bottom. So I'm gonna have to connect this part to the back without making this like concave here. So I'm just gonna start from this like quarter point, which remember I mentioned that this is like by the hip. So I'm gonna go from here and then connect it to the back by chaining, I think another 20. Yeah, so I'm gonna try that and then I'll try it on, and if it does not work then I'll have to pull it out and do something different. So I ended up actually doing it, tying it in the front. I thought I was gonna like meet it in the back, but it was doing a weird fold. So we'll see how this goes. I'm gonna go around the row again, and then I'll probably do like maybe 4 more, seeing how that goes, and then I'll try it on and report back. I might end up like connecting this or something, because you just, when you're doing like improv things, you just want to make sure you're getting like a good tension all around so that it fits the body right. So I will report back. So after trying it on and doing a couple rows, it does look good. I got very lucky, but it's a little bit too tight now, like around the waist, so I'm going to have to pull a couple of rows out. I'm changing to like a bigger size hook, and hopefully, like, it was nice that it was snug, but then it was like pulling on the top part too much and I just want it to fall easily. So I'm going to not decrease as much as I have been on the sides and just go back and forth again with the same pattern, but just like with the bigger hook. So I just tried it on again, and I put this stitch marker here because this is where I want a slit to happen. So this is where I want it to start. And I might have to go back and fix some things because I'm not confident about the top anymore. Like, there's a lot of parts out now and like things are changing. So for now, I'm just going to make the slit by going back the way I came and making like the same pattern all the way down, and then I'll go to the top again and kind of just like cover up some of these parts that are being very exposed right now. So I've been at it for a while and it's looking like this with the slit in the front, and this comes up to about calf length so far. And now I'm gonna go back and just address the front and the top part because it's now like pulling weird because of the way the bottom is. So I'm just going to work on this and add the straps now. I'm basically done at this point. I'm just going to add the straps on each side, plus making another side row by double crocheting, skipping one stitch, and then double crocheting in the next. So I did that all the way around on both sides, the same exact thing. And now I'm just weaving in the ends to finish off the dress. And this is the butterfly dress. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch the whole process, and I'm really excited to be making some more of these in the future.